glad to see you today. I decided that it might be helpful if I just walk through some of the homework questions with you today to make sure that we're all on the same page in case you're having some trouble logging into Zearn or getting that information. So let's just walk through lesson 17, question number 1. So they have a picture of your number line, and then they have the fractions that we're going to put on the number line. So remember from what we've learned in class that the first thing we need to do is look at our whole numbers. And we like to go ahead and label those first so that we don't get confused after that. So if it's 0, what fraction is that? Okay, it's going to be 0 over 2 because we have 0 parts to a whole right now. And then in 1, it's going to be 2 over 2. Remember, it looks like this. If I have 2 parts in the whole and 2 are shaded, then that's going to be 2 over 2, and it's going to equal 1 whole. Then we have 2 wholes. Remember, we learned a trick on how to determine how many parts we have. We can say, we can multiply our whole by the number of parts. So 2 times 2 would be 4 over 2. And then 3 times 2 would be 6 over 2. All right, so that puts our whole numbers on. So now we need to divide things up in half. So I'm going to cut each one in half. And then I'm going to go ahead and label. So I have 0 half. The next one would be 1 half. Then 2 over 2, which I can agree is following the pattern. 3 over 2, 4 over 2, 5 over 2. So now is the easy part. I just have to match up the fractions with where they're at on the number line. So 1 half would be this way. 4 over 2 right here, and then 5 over 2. And then I'm done. It's going to be a lot easier if you just go ahead and label your whole numbers, and that's going to keep you from getting confused. All right, let's do one more. So let's do a word problem. Number 4, it says, Wayne went on a 4-kilometer hike. He took a break at 4/3 kilometer. He took a drink of water at 10/3 kilometer. Show Wayne's hike on the number line. Include his starting and finishing place and the 2 points where he stopped. Okay, so it gives us the number line. Ooh, that is not straight. And it says he's gone on a 4-mile hike. So I know I'm not going to have to get bigger than the whole number of 4. And he's going to start at 0. So if he went on 4 miles, I'm going to divide this into my whole numbers. 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile. So now I have all my whole numbers placed on my number line. And so I need to look back and see what kind of fractions we're going to have. So it says, took a break at 4/3. He took another break at 10/3. So I'm going to be dividing my number line into thirds because that's the fractional part that we're given in the question. So when I divide something in thirds, if I'm dividing it in thirds, I'm going to put 2 lines. It's always 1 less. So it's 1, 2, 3. I can see I still have thirds. So if this is 0/3, this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Now I can go ahead and divide the others. And then I'm going to label my wholes first because that's going to make sure that I don't get off on my counting later on. So remember, our trick is we can say wholes multiplied by the parts is going to give us the numerator. So 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 6/3. Then 3 times 3 is 9/3. 4 times 3 is 12/3. Okay, and then I just have to fill it in. So I've got 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3, 10/3, and 11/3. So now it's the easy part. I just have to find where these numbers belong on the number line. So I go back and look at the problem so that I know that I'm answering the question. It says, show Wayne's hike on the number line. Include his starting and finishing place and the 2 points where he stopped. So I'm going to label. This is start. This is finish. And then he took a break at 4/3. Break. And he got water at 10/3. Okay? I'm going to go back and check and make sure I don't have to explain this or show anything else. It says, include his starting and finishing place and the 2 points where he stopped. I've included those. I've labeled them on my number line. I have a number line, so I'm finished with that problem. You can do the next one. It's very similar. Remember, draw your number line and then label your holes so that you don't get mixed up first. If you label everything on the number line, it's very easy to find your answers.